All right, this is one we're going to do by special request. We get a lot of people asking for help with websites, and that just is it's part of being a small entrepreneur. Is that so many of you have to wear multiple hats, from marketing to sales. In this case, website development. This is a tough one, and if you don't really apply yourself here, study it, this can be overwhelming to you. Lots of times handling the support calls and support questions, those are the easier tasks to owning a dealership than planning web strategy. So in today's class, we're going to look at how to the first steps. That is, I'm going to list out 5 steps that you need to map out on paper before you start working on your website. If you already have a website, proud of you. But there's going to be some things that you can learn today that will help and improve your current site. Maybe even cause you to relook at it, rethink it as to how you're going to go forward with it. So we're going to do 2 phases on this. This is phase 1, which is planning your web strategy. And then we're going to implement the steps next week. I'll show you some implementation steps for you. So the critical steps are to your success is to determine first the type of site that you're going to be, and then where you're going to host it. You can host it with any number of places. We'll get into some of those here. Then we'll talk about content management software, CMS, which is the site development tools that you'll need to make the site look good and to manage it. We're going to talk about SEO, search engine optimization. And then finally, we're going to look at landing pages. Now, this landing pages can be as far as you can use them on your existing site, or you can use them as a primary tool on your new site if you've not developed anything. So let's take a look at types of sites. So what is your goal? Do you want a domain for an email address only? We have people that are on this call today that have a domain. They have a web domain for their dealership, but have not created a website. If that's your goal, we're going to talk about that. Is it that you want an e-commerce site? Is it you're thinking that you're going to create a site, put a product, and somebody's going to walk in, look at your site and go, hey, that's what I want, and throw down a credit card? There's some tricks to that. There's some work to that. It's not as easy as it sounds. Then their informational site. Are you looking to be the expert site, the site that people go to when they want to find out how to do something? Well, there are sites that you can create that would become an informational site to then promote you as the expert in your area. Do you want a lead generation site? I think most everybody does. Well, we'll show you how that is a definite possibility and some of the things you're going to need to do to create that lead generation site. And then finally, do you want all the above? Do you want a domain for your email? Do you want to have a little e-commerce on it? Do you want to have information that people will go to you as the go-to person for information on everything to do POS? Do you want to generate leads from this? All those are possible. And we'll give you examples of each one of those. So I'm going to start off by stepping on some toes. If you have a domain address just to have an email address, then that's the worst thing you can do. And the reason is people will look at your email and go, oh, there's a domain on the end of that. And they'll go to that. And if you don't have a website, that's the worst possible first impression that you can have. They're going to look at you and go, what is this? This person doesn't have a website? This is 2022. Everybody has a website. But if you're only having a domain just to have an email, they're getting the worst possible impression from you. You're better off with a Gmail address, really. If you're not going to create your domain and website from that, you're doing yourself a disservice and actually hurting your business rather than helping your business. Then over about e-commerce site. That's where you get a shopping cart and you put items in that shopping cart. There's probably a description underneath that for buying product. There are plenty of sites that will take your money and allow you then to develop that shopping cart for a monthly fee. The thing is, yeah, you can put it up there, but it doesn't mean people are going to come find you. And it certainly doesn't mean people are just going to throw down a credit card for you. You're going to have to staff this to make it successful. You've got to be able to answer the phone. You've got to be able to respond to emails immediately. And you have to be able to have chat. So there's a staffing thing. If you're a one-person operation, an e-commerce site is probably not the right thing for you. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting and looking for those responses that you have to have all day long. And that's not really what you want to do for a living. You want to be out pulling doors, shaking hands, meeting the people. An e-commerce site for a single operator is not really the best option for you. Do you want to be an informational site? Well, this comes across as a good thing as far as a point of sale or credit card processing company, in that the site looks similar to this, and that you'll have blocks of information, articles that you're looking to be in front of that customer, something that's going to be of interest to them. You'll have little blocks with read more or learn more or links to other pages on your site where they then get the full article. The thing here is this will attract search engines, but it has to be updated in order to stay relevant. The search engine will optimize this and look at this as an expert site and rank you higher unless you're not staying relevant. If you do not continuously change this site, update this site, then your relevance in the search engine will drop dramatically. And how often do you have to update it? Probably weekly. You need to refresh this look constantly. So this does require more work than a lot of you are willing to put in. Then there's lead generation. It's what everybody wants. The most common question we are asked about website development is that you want to see more people come to your site. That also means you need to then convert them to a lead. Just getting them to your site is not really good enough. It helps a little, but that's not the end goal. The end goal is to get a lead out of it. So very few pull this off successfully. Very few of the referral partners in the industry are successful with this. That's why you see so many ads coming to you in your email with people trying to sell you lead list. They know that you're not being successful generating leads on your own. Therefore, they try to sell the leads that they have successfully obtained. And how do they obtain them on their website? Well, the reason you're failing is because you probably don't give them a compelling reason to obtain the lead. If you are getting those ads from these lead generation sites, what they have done is offered that visitor something, whether it's a comparison of different programs, a comparison of different solutions, more information, those things that give that visitor a reason to give them their information. This could be a white paper, how to improve your inventory loss. How do you eliminate losses in inventory? How do you reduce labor costs? How to run a good gift card package. Those articles that can be given in what's called a white paper, which are longer articles, a little more information, a little more in depth. Where an article might be 500 words, a white paper may be 8, 10, 20 pages worth of information that is worthy of that visitor giving up their information to become a lead. So often we see websites from referral partners who have maybe a contact us link in the footer. That's not good enough. You need to have something in the body of that web page where there is a reason. Click here for a white paper on reducing inventory cost. And then they have to give their information to get that link, to get that PDF. You need to have a reason for them to give you their information. And just sometimes, just guys, just not a free demo, that's not going to be enough. You have to be a little more creative, because everybody offers a free demo. Everybody offers a free consultation. What are you going to do to be different from everybody else? So what are you trying to do is the first part. What kind of website? You're probably going to say, well, I want all of the above. Well, look at each one of these is on the sheet on the page here. Each one of these is more work. Every line you move down the page, that's more work that you're going to have to do. The simplest thing is just have an email. That's the simplest thing. The most difficult and time consuming is to do all of these. So you have to choose where you want to place your effort. Where do you want to put your time into it? That's the list. And if you want all the above, you're going to be putting in some hours in this. Good news is it's a heavy lift in the beginning. It's not a heavy lift week to week. All right, next up, hosting. That is, where are you going to put your website? You'll notice that there's a company called GoDaddy. That's where I host my sites, my own personal sites. I do that at GoDaddy. I've been there for 20, 25 years. They provide great service. I'm comfortable with them. My downtime is basically zero. I don't have any. And they have great support along with other products. They have the different products for content management that I am comfortable with. So they have website building tools that are included with your hosting. They have different hosting packages that you just pick which one you want, how many websites you want. GoDaddy is a good one. I personally recommend them. There's also a company called Bluehost, very popular. HostGator and DreamHost. In my past, I have used each of these, and I'm telling you, each of them is a good place to go. It just depends on what you want to do. There's really no limit. I did a Google search on web hosting, and it came back with over 1 billion hits, results. So there's a lot of opportunity here for you to look at different hosting packages. Just pick the one that's best for you, and just know these 4 are all very good. I've used each of these in the past and had good success. Then there's what's called content management software, CMS. This software actually steps you through the process of creating your website. It's really step 1, step 2, step 3, and it goes right down the line. It allows you to create those pages, your base home page, and then a directory tree of all the pages underneath that. It's this software is very easy to follow. If you can operate Word or Pages, then you're able to type in and create the web pages based upon the CMS software. They're all very easy to use. They do have multiple add-on modules. So there's the base module, which will then give you your base website. But they also have blog management tools. They have video tools that allow you to host your own videos. They have shopping carts that you can add in. So there's a lot of add-on modules to each of the ones I'm going to show you here that allow you to then expand that site to be everything we talked about earlier on the different types of sites. They'll all have email. They'll all have the ability to do information sites, e-commerce sites, as well as lead generation. So all these add-on modules really make it a very powerful website. They do have click and drag, so that when you have a block of data and you want to move that, you can click it and move it to where you want on the page. It's a click and drag type of system that allows you to then easily create a web page. Another benefit of these CMS tools is that they all include the search engine optimization tools. There are, for instance, WordPress has some very good add-on modules that will actually grade your search engine by page. That would allow you then to say, this is the search engine keywords I want to optimize on this page. It then will do an analysis of that page and give you a grade of how well you've done optimizing for those keywords on that page. It'll look at the title, the URL, the headers, as well as the text, and give you that grade and then suggestions on what to do. For instance, sometimes you have too many keywords repetitive on the page. It will trigger that. It will show you that. It'll pick out the words and highlight the ones that are too often used. So there's a lot of good tools in these modules that will then help you create the right page with the right search engine optimization. If you're a little bit challenged on creativity, they do have templates. And you just pick the template you wish. It'll have some sample pictures in it. Obviously, you make and select your own. You name those pictures appropriately for your website, then upload those in the place of what comes in the template. Generally, in the templates, I'm looking for the color of the site, the layout of the blocks of data, as well as just the aesthetics. Looking, does it look good? Does it flow? Is the type easy to read? Those things are what you're looking for in the templates, but they are available. They also have help in online help groups. You'll find at each of their home pages for these CMS tools, there are help groups, there are blogs where you can ask questions and get answers. There are also people on Fiverr who will help build your site if you wish. They will use the tools that you have. If you're using WordPress, there are hundreds and hundreds of website developers who will say, yeah, for a fee, I will help you build this page or build this site. And it's your choice. You can choose for them to help you with a single page where you then replicate their work, or you can have them build the whole thing. That's your choice of what works well for you. Some of the site development tools, first up is Weebly. Weebly is the tool we use at Aldelo for our site. It allows for multiple people, and we have 4 people that will collaborate on that website. That we each will have little areas where we go and work, or Jeff and I've gotten on the page together where we are working it together, moving things around, changing the verbiage, making sure the keywords are right, making sure the tag and the headers are right. We're working on that together. So Weebly is one that we use and that we're both comfortable doing. It's a good one. They can host the site as well as just have the tool. One that's very similar to them is one called Wix. It's pretty much identical. Of course, they'll have some differences in their layouts, but the philosophy is the same as Weebly. They're pretty close together as far as how they're going to work. And I'm not listing their URLs on here for you because all you got to do is search for Weebly or Weebly.com or Wix.com, and you'll find them. They'll be right there for you. Another one that I've used in the past is called Joomla. This one is, while it does have the ability to do the on-page drag, drop, cut, and paste, those things, Joomla allows a developer who wants to get into the HTML, allows you to get into it and make some really, really cool changes to it. So it's a little more for the professional type of developer. In that, you'll also find a lot of professional developers. That's all they use is Joomla. I've used it on multiple sites and I enjoy it. I like getting into the background of it. And that's really a lot of where I learned how to do the HTML programming is with my Joomla sites. If you're looking for an e-commerce site, then Squarespace is one of the most popular that there is. It's easy to do and they will host it for you, but there is a monthly fee. Same thing for Shopify. If you wish to use Shopify or Squarespace, those both are sites that will do credit card processing. They will process the card, take their fees, and it does cost you per month. So you really need to think about how you're going to use that and if you're really going to sell something. Because if you're not selling something and getting revenues from this, this is not the way to go. So I would not recommend an e-commerce site just for the fact that it's going to cost you monthly. And if you don't have sales, you're just wasting money.
And one of the problems with an e-commerce site is you do tend to just get into a price war with everybody else selling the same product.
Mm-hmm.
So it really just becomes customers go out and search for that product for the lowest price. And if you're just not looking at being the low price guy out there, that's really all those online shops become for you. It's not usually one of your best places to attract customers.
I wouldn't even sell paper online from the sheer fact that they'll get it someplace else, because you're now competing with the Amazons and the eBays of the world and the other, as well as other dealers and vendors. I wouldn't do an e-commerce site for what we're trying to do, but that's up to you guys. Remember, if you do e-commerce, you're going to have to staff it. You're going to have somebody there to answer those questions, respond to those emails, and do the chat. And then the last one is the most popular in the world. It's called WordPress, and it has a lot that you can do with it. It does have the ability, you can come to their site and you can host it there. But you can also go to GoDaddy and they have a WordPress download on GoDaddy. So you have your choices on how you're going to do it. I've used WordPress for a lot of my sites. Enjoy it. It's like if you can do Word or Pages, you can do WordPress. It does have the drag and drop. It does have a lot of modules you can add to it. Most popular one for me was that search engine optimization. Graded me on that. So I like it. I do like it a lot. I would recommend, if you're going to do your own website, that's one I would take a look at and see if you feel comfortable with it. If you do, great. It's also one that you can find a lot of people, a lot of help with it, who will do a page and then you can replicate it. So take their work and to repeat it over and over again, and you'll get ahead of all of your competition. Next up, search engine optimization. This is how your customers are going to find you. If you don't do this, you're dead in the water. It is the least understood aspect of site building, but yet it is the most important. And you get to the end of the day, you built this page and you're excited. You did a good job. It looks good. Words are right. The headings look good. It's visually attractive. Colors are good, everything. And that's it, publish it. If you don't do the search engine optimization, you basically wasted your entire day on that page because they're not going to be found. You have to do the search engine optimization in order for it to be found by the search engine spiders. These are software spiders that crawl your site looking for what you think are the keywords to that page. And they will then rank your page according to the search engine optimization. So you need to ask yourself, what do you want to be known for? What is it that you want to be known as the expert for? Why But what is the reason for people to find your page? What are they looking for that you have? This allows then the search engines to feed the searcher the information about you and why you should be their first choice to click and go to that page. So you have to make your physical list of keywords. What do you want to be known for? And you need to write these down. Jeff and I have spent a lot of hours doing keywords for our website. Jeff, do you remember how many we wound up with?
How many, which things did we end up with?
Keywords.
Oh gosh, we have thousands of about 2,500 keywords on our web pages. Yeah, just for us.
Correct. So when I say 3+ words per phrase, you start now looking at, well, how many do you really want to have for your site? Well, 2,500 is not a small number, but it's also not a number you should shy away from. You should really look at, what do you want to be known for? So 3 words per phrase is what we shot for, and sometimes we did more. And I'll give you an example. This is a very popular phrase: food truck POS in, and then fill in your city. It's a very narrow search, which means it's going to eliminate most of your competition. But if somebody's looking for food truck POS in your market, if you have a keyword phrase, food truck POS in whatever city you're in, then that's going to eliminate all your competition and bring your page to the forefront of that searcher's search. And that's what you want. You want to be known as, then fill in the blank. What do you want to be known for? You have to determine that for what you want. Then your page URL and title. The URL is the address. That's the web address. So that's generally the domain name. I'm going to show you how to expand that a little bit to make it a little more precise. But the URL should contain the keywords for that page. The page name may have Aldelo in it. Now, in your contract, it says you cannot use Aldelo in the web address as far as your domain name. So where it says here on the screen, mysite.com, you cannot put myaldelosite.com. You cannot have Aldelo in the domain name. But you can have Aldelo in the page name after the slash. So in this case, mysite.com/Aldelo-restaurant-POS. That is a legitimate page name that you should consider for all of your pages that refer to the Aldelo products. You need to have that in that name because the search engines are going to look at that as an authority page in your market. So you really, when you're building your site and you're creating that tree of different pages underneath the main page, that's what you need to do, is use that Aldelo name along with your 3+ word keywords. The page title, which is different from the page address, should follow the same format. And as you'll notice here on the screen, the page title is what goes across the tab for that page. When you've got your browser up and you've got your page up, the verbiage across the top of that tab, that's your title. And it should contain your keyword phrase for that page. Obviously, it can be a lot more words than your page title, but it should reflect what's on that page. Then there's a page description. Now, this contains the keywords for this page. And it should also give the searcher a reason to click. Now you're looking on the screen here, you're seeing first is the page address, which is aldelo.com. Then the next line is the page title, which is Aldelo Cloud POS dash Aldelo Restaurant Point of Sale dash the best, and it's the best free POS for business. So that entire title is full of keywords. Then below that is the description for that page. That should give them a better idea what to look for. It previews what to expect on this page, and it should give them a reason to click and go to that page. So that's how it looks in the search engine, and that's why it's so critical that you do each page should be unique. The URL, page title, page description, keyword should be unique to that page, and it should be different on each page. It has to be different on each page. So if you have 10 pages, you're going to have 10 different URLs, 10 different page titles, page descriptions, and keywords. All of these are different. Yes, it can be a pain, but it is something that you have to do in order to do the proper search engine optimization. If you do repeated every page the same, not only will the search engines reduce your authority, they will also give you warning messages. So don't go there. Every page has to be different. Landing pages. These are pages focused on a specific keyword phrase that provide links to other pages on your site. This allows you then to have a landing page that is attracting a specific type of visitor that then is funneled to other pages for more information within your site. What we've done at Aldelo is that we created a landing page for all 50 states, as well as major cities within the United States. So we have not only for Florida, but we have a page for Orlando, Jacksonville, Tampa, Miami, all these different markets in the states. We've gone through and created these pages. This page here is the Restaurant POS Florida page. And look in the URL. It's got aldelo.com restaurant-POS-Florida. This site ranks really, really, really well. It comes up on the first page on a Google search. When you look for restaurant POS in Florida, this is what you're going to find. That's called a landing page. You'll need a landing page for the different cities in your market, the different phrases that you want to be known for. This allows you then to use your current website, create landing pages that are not in the directory, but yet are seen by the search engine. That then will attract visitors to your site. Each landing page is just another hook in the ocean. It just brings in more people. You catch more leads with more landing pages. This is where you can really complete and fill out your website with additional hooks to get people to your site. They then are funneled to the sub pages in your site for more information. So some of the landing page suggestions would be one for each one of these topics. You could do restaurant POS in your city, sandwich POS in your city. Each one of these would be a landing page, all 12 of these. Once done, and once you have the proper SEO for these pages, they will attract visitors like a magnet. If they're looking for something in your area and you have a landing page, you're now the authority on that subject. So we've covered the critical steps to success with regard to putting together a plan. Nowhere in here have I shown you how to type. I've not shown you the software. I have just laid out the plan for you to then put it together to then take that next step. So where are you going to host? What type of site do you want to have? Which software do you want to develop with? Your SEO, what do you want to be known for? What do you want customers to find you for? How do you want them to find you? And then there's the landing pages that you can create to best attract the type of customer that you want. Okay. Jeff, I haven't seen anything in the chat. I think everybody was paying attention today.
I think everybody, got it, because there's nothing in the chat from anybody. I think you did a fantastic job.
Yeah. What do you see anything that I missed as far as the planning stage?
The only thing I think we might want to talk about as far as the planning stages stuff, when you're talking about the SEO and what do they want to be known for, you were talking about how to set up the SEO words and stuff. And one of the cautions I would have for everybody on here, everybody wants to go, well, I want to be known for point of sale. Well, so does every one of your competition.
Yep.
So if your keyword and your SEO is point of sale, you're not going to rank very high because everybody's ranking for that same phrase. You want to pick more specific things. And so point of sale for bars in Orlando, point of sale for bars in Florida. That kind of thing is actually going to get you a more narrow focus and is going to be something people actually search for. Because when you search, if your search is too wide, you're also going to get too much stuff. So having 4 or 5 words in your SEO, in your search information, not only narrows down your focus, so you're able to be found more in a niche market, but people are actually going to be searching for that narrow focus anyways. So it really helps out a lot. And picking 4, 5, 6 of those to narrow down for your homepage, maybe having sub pages that have other focuses means your website will start to rank very well. So you can have multiple focuses. Those are just going to be on additional sub pages. That was the only thing I wanted to cover, Jerry.
Yeah, and it's the terms that we're trying to get you to use are longer terms, search terms. And that's why your customer is using those terms. It's not that we're trying to get you to use a long term that nobody's looking for. It's just the opposite. Searchers have learned that if they want to narrow their options, they need to put in more keywords. And that's exactly what they're doing. They are putting in food truck POS in and then their city. That's a common search now. And if you don't have your landing page set up and your keywords set up, you're just not even in the game. You're not getting any search results with you in mind.
But Jerry, I don't see any questions coming up. I think, you may have really covered this really well. In fact, James, thank you very much for the kudos on the presentation. We appreciate that.
I hope it's beneficial, you guys. I'm trying to find a word. I'm going to try one. I don't know if this is any good or not. Broad term. Right. Keywords, okay. And this is giving you some indication of search volume. And it's also telling you how much a per click ad would cost you. So if you're trying to buy an ad where you get one of those ads that pop up on the side on the Google search, or if you're in the top 3 or the bottom 3 on the first page, it's going to cost you at least $15 if somebody clicks on that ad. That's why this search engine ads are so profitable for these different companies. See, I don't want it. Restaurant POS systems is almost 10,000 searches. It's got high competition. You're not going to really benefit if you are optimizing just for restaurant POS systems. You need to have this, what's called a long tail, which is when you have more than 3 words. Restaurant point of sale systems has only 1,000 searches. Well, that means it's going to be narrowed down. Your searches are not going to be as intense.
So Jerry, we've got a question in the chat here of what resources does Aldelo provide as far as images, content, etc.?
Everything on our website is available for you guys.
If you actually sign into the dealers section,
mm-hmm.
There's everything from PDF information for content that you can turn into web content to videos to, there's actually quite a smorgasbord there of content.
But any image you see on the website, it's right click and copy the image. Now, we don't really want you cutting and pasting the verbatim here, all this, because then both of us get dinged for repetitive, same information. But there's nothing wrong with you taking that concept here and putting it into your own words. Sometimes putting the verbiage into your own words is easier than coming up with the verbiage on your own. So you're welcome to look at any page, copy that image, use it as is, and then change the verbiage so it's not an exact copy. And you'll notice on every page, almost without fail, we're not asking them for an order. We're not asking them to do anything other than if they have a question, let's talk. Let's just have a conversation. That's about as soft a request as you can do. Now, we do offer a free trial. We actually recommend you do the same. Everything that we do here, we recommend you do as well. And that's why this site is such a good place for you to go and get ideas about your website. When we talked about what do you want to do, this does everything but e-commerce. We don't take credit cards on this site. But this is our email. This is our information site. This is our lead generation. And we actually post articles on a very regular basis.
So then Chuck's also asking, do we have a branded lead submission page that they can include on their website? So we have a ton of lead submission pages that are on our website, but you probably want to, most dealers want to be in control of that experience and have that lead go through them and vet that lead themselves rather than have us do it. We do build landing pages and stuff for that kind of thing. And yes, we can do that type of stuff and build one so that it comes through to us from your website. That's something you would actually set up with your product success people. And so Chelsea and Kelly and stuff can help, talk to you about what you'd like to see on that page, how we'd like to build it, and we can build that out. That's not a problem.
The way these lead submission pages work is you have certain data that you want to require. Once they submit that, it then goes out into an email. And that's how we receive it, is an email. What we've done today is give you the groundwork to create a plan. I've already sent the PDF version of the PowerPoint today to the sales team. I will have them send this out to everybody on the call today so that you have the actual plan in writing from us. Next week, we're going to get into a little bit deeper into this, showing you keywords, how do you find your keywords? Because you heard Jeff and I talking about 2,500. There are some tools that will help create that. We're going to talk about how to do searches on the #2 search engine in the world. You've already kind of guessed what is the #1 search engine? It's Google. Well, we're going to talk about how to do the searches on the #2 search engine in the world. We're also going to talk about a little more detail. I'll show you some click and drag on how to create a landing page. We'll do that. And we'll talk about some more SEO stuff. There's more to it than I could do in one day. We're already almost an hour into this, and I probably didn't cover half. But we want you to have web pages. If you don't have a web page in today's market, you're out of business, because that customer is searching. They're searching for the answer without you. If you only have a domain name to have an email address, you're eliminated from the sale, period. That customer's searching. And if they're not finding you, it's because your website is dead, search engines don't like you, and your search engine optimization needs to be worked on. And that includes creating some landing pages. Something else we will do as a service is I will take time, an hour, and spend with you and dive into your current website. And I'll show you the keywords, the title, the description on your page. And then I'll show you where you can be improving that with the own page SEO, as well as what's behind the scenes. But you need to work that through our team, internal team, and I will take that time and we'll schedule it. Jeff, anything else you want to bring up on this aspect today?
No, I think you did a fantastic job, Jerry, and thank you for doing this.
I think it's going to really help the ones that pay attention and put this into practice. You will be better. Your customers and prospects will find you. If you don't, they're just not going to find you. All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming, and we will look forward to seeing you guys next week.